Today on Travel Fanatics, we're going to tell you the top 5 things that you must have when you travel to Thailand.
At number 5 are your tickets.
Now, this might seem to be obvious, and well, a lot of these are going to probably seem to be obvious, but it's really important when you're traveling to Thailand to have all your ticket stuff sorted, right? And this really is important from like an immigration point of view, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple of tips for you, right? So you want to have your going there ticket, but also your return ticket. That's very important. They're going to want to know what that is when you land, particularly if you're doing a landing visa. So we're from the US, and when we land, we have to say, this is our return ticket. They want to know because you get your 30 days and then they want to know that you're out of there, right? And they need that ticket to show that. Now, another thing, and I don't know if this is done in other countries, but in immigration for Thailand, when you go through the line, sometimes they want to see your boarding pass from your incoming flight, right? So make sure you save those little stubs that you get or the whole boarding pass so that you're able to show that just in case they ask for it.
And don't forget about your luggage tag.
Yeah, so those are important too. So on my last trip, this was horrible. They actually lost my bags. And if I didn't have my little luggage tag, the little receipt that they give you, you know, they put the sticker on your luggage and then they give you the little piece of paper, it would have been really impossible because for me, trying to talk to the people at the airport in Thailand at Suvarnabhumi, did I say that right? Suvarnabhumi?
Yeah, Suvarnabhumi.
Suvarnabhumi. It was really the language barrier there was pretty hard, but I was able to show my luggage tag and a photo of my luggage. And I think those two pieces of information are key. So have your tickets, have your boarding passes, hold on to your luggage tags, and then take a picture of all your luggage just in case it disappears, because when I went this way, it definitely went that way, and it was super sad for me.
Next, number 4, your cell phone.
Yeah, so this is another one that seems kind of obvious, but we want to talk about the cell phone in context of Thailand, right? So, you know, when you've got a phone, you can call people and you can use the internet, look things up. But there are a handful of things that are very, very important in Thailand that you can use your cell phone for. And one of them are all of the new apps, they're pretty new, that are now available in Thailand, right?
Yeah, it's called Grab.
Yeah, that's a good one. So one of the big concerns that people always have when they travel to Thailand, at least in the past, was being taken advantage of by taxi drivers, because you really don't know how far things are necessarily and how much it should cost. Grab is kind of like Uber, but it's not linked to your credit card. You still have to pay cash. But what it does is you can put in your location and your destination, and it will give you an option for someone to come pick you up and take you there, just like Uber, and it'll tell you how much it costs, right? So you don't have to negotiate with the driver. You don't have to worry about, did the taxi turn on their meter and all those kinds of things. Super cool. And the last time we were there, we used it all the time.
Yeah.
But we did discover one problem, and that's the service that you get with an American SIM card in Thailand. And this might be true for SIMs from other locations as well, but we found that there were a lot of holes in coverage, and it was kind of painful. So what we recommend is that when you go to Thailand, make sure your phone is unlocked. Yeah. And then at the airport, make sure you do this at the airport. Have them install a local SIM so that you have a local number so you can get local internet, and then buy unlimited access for however long you're going to be there. This money is going to be extremely well invested. It's going to be worth every baht that you spend on it. And I would say do it at the airport, because you can do it right there. You have to have your passport to get a SIM card in Thailand, so they register it to your passport. You'll have that with you for sure while you're at the airport. So just go ahead and get that done, get your service fired up, and then you can use Grab or any of the other apps that are specific to Thailand that you might use and need, and also have access to being able to call home using Skype or Facebook Messenger or Line. That's the big popular one in Thailand, right?
Yeah.
Line. Yeah, and all those apps. And it'll also let you communicate with the locals a little bit better if you've got that local phone number.
Next up, number 3, money.
Oh, money, the one that you always have to have, right? getting aside from the obvious, if you got money, you can do everything, right? Really, is how do you want to carry money to Thailand? And we haven't really talked about this yet, but let me ask you a question and see if it matches up with what I'm thinking. What do you think is the best way to take money from your country to Thailand for vacation? How would you carry that with you? Is it going to be, do you like credit cards? Do you like cash? Do you like using ATMs? What do you think is the best way?
I think cash, and then you need to have like an extra credit card for just emergency.
Yeah, I think that's really, really good advice, and I track along with that as well. Also, reason being is that in Thailand, most of the economy is going to be kind of cash and carry, right? So if you're wanting to eat food from a street stall, they're not going to take a credit card or an ATM card. It's going to be cash only. Now, you can take money out of the bank when you get there with an ATM card, but there are fees on top of that. And I think the exchange rate isn't quite as good as what you get with just straight cash. Now, I only have experience changing US dollars there. And as a foreigner that looks like me, changing dollars there, they pretty much will only change crisp, brand new $100 notes. Don't take 50s, don't take 20s, don't take anything that's old, don't take anything with a stamp on it, don't take anything with creases, don't take anything with rips. Fresh, crisp $100 notes. I recommend going to the bank before you leave, taking out your cash, and then sitting there with a teller and going through every note and making sure they're perfect. And we've done this, I don't know, a bunch of times for trips to Thailand, and it's always paid off for me in Thailand. Now, the other pieces, you want to have your credit cards, you want to have your ATM card, and they're for emergencies. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting in Thailand with credit cards that I've not seen in other places is that depending on where you book hotel rooms, sometimes they want you to show the credit card that you booked the hotel room with. Now, we do a lot of travel hacking, meaning we just churn through the credit cards. So sometimes it ends up that the credit card that we used to book a vacation 6 months in advance has been canceled by the time we're taking the trip. Be careful of that. Hold on to the credit cards that you use to book your rooms, because they might say, we want to see credit card ending in blah, 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 blah. It might be a low percentage, but it could sink your vacation if they say, oh, we're not going to check you in because we can't prove that this is you, even though you have your passport, right? So just another odd thing about money. Now, one more tip about cash. Don't change cash at the airport unless you just need to. Maybe you want to get some cash so you can get that SIM card that we talked about, but the exchange rate in the airport is going to be the worst possible exchange rate that you can get. Now, if you're frequent travelers to Thailand, one thing that we always bring back with us is what?
The cash leftover.
Yeah, the leftover cash. And then we use that as our landing money, right? So if you come back with a couple of $100 in Thai baht, maybe at 6,000 Thai baht or something, that's enough to cover pretty much anything that you need when you land. Cover your taxi, it'll cover buying that new SIM card, any of those things. So make sure you hold on to a little bit of cash if you do travel multiple times. If you don't, only change the bare minimum at the airport to get the stuff done you need to do there, and then do the rest of it pretty much anywhere else.
Number 2, medication.
Yes, so medication, always super important. And when you think about Thailand, though, some things are a little bit different, right? So the traveling there is all the same. Don't put it in a check bag. Always keep your medication on you in your backpack or whatever, because if you do lose your bag, like mine were lost, and your medicine's in there, could be a problem. One thing that's a little bit interesting about Thailand, if you are unfamiliar with how they do medicine there, is that it's way different than the United States. So lots of stuff that you have to have a prescription for here, you can buy over the counter there. Now, I'm not talking about narcotics or anything crazy, but like blood pressure medication and regular painkillers and anti-inflammatory meds and antibiotics, all that stuff is just over the counter. You just, anywhere that's got the little green cross, and that doesn't mean it's a dispensary. That means it's a pharmacy there. So that's another kind of thing that's funny, the way it's kind of worked out with the symbols. But at any pharmacy, you can buy most anything that your doctor would prescribe here over the counter, unless it's a controlled substance. So if worse does come to worse, just go. Don't be shy. Make sure you know what your prescriptions are, and then just say, hey, I need this stuff. And more than likely, they'll be able to sell it to you.
And the number 1 most important thing is your passport.
Yeah, again, obvious, right? Yay. Well, your passport is going to be used for everything in Thailand. It is super duper important. Now let's also talk about a handful of other things that will apply on your way there. First, you have to get it. You have to have it to get on the plane. You're going to have it to enter the country. But you need to think about visas along with your passport as well. So we're from the U.S., so we can just go and land and get a visa on entry. Other countries don't have that benefit, so you need to make sure you've applied and have that visa in your passport. Another thing that's kind of interesting is in some countries, to transit that country, you have to have a transit visa. That's another one where, if you have a U.S. passport, the world's a little bit easier to travel through, but make sure you have all the visas necessary. Now, other things that you need your passport for, just like I said before, to get a SIM card, you have to have your passport. To check in to any hotel, you have to have a passport. So even when you walk around in Thailand, you're supposed to have your passport on you. My one tip for that is make a photocopy of the ID page of your passport, keep that in your pocket, and lock your passport up in your hotel room. You don't want anything happen to that.
And one extra thing, don't forget your extra clothes.
Oh, for travel?
Yeah, like your underwear, or if you travel with kids, so extra clothes for the kid to, maybe have accident.
Oh yeah, there's nothing worse than like being on a plane and then you spill like a big drink all over yourself and you're wet. Or God forbid other bad things happen, right? So one extra suit of clothes I think goes a long way. And if you're traveling in style, meaning that you're traveling at business class or first class, sometimes they'll give you pajamas, which help with that. But what's really cool is when you transit, you can get into the lounge. And usually when you're traveling to Thailand, at least from the U.S., you're going to stop, either in Europe, maybe at Heathrow, or if you're going through Asia, you'll be in Japan or Seoul or something like that. And the nice lounges have showers. So it's kind of nice to shower, refresh, and put on a new set of clothes at the airport for that last 6 hours or whatever that you have to do. So yeah, great tip. All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you like and subscribe, ring the bell, do all those things. And hopefully one of these days we'll see you guys in Thailand. Take care.
Bye-bye.